Out of Order Gun Rights Podcast, Episode 53.
Welcome to the Out of Order Podcast, your window into the firearms community, exploring those shaping the future of our rights and protecting our lifestyle, laws, legal cases, activism, and self-defense in a candid and honest podcast for our brothers and sisters in arms. Here's your host, James Kalita.
Thanks for tuning in to episode 53 of the Out of Order Gun Rights Podcast. Today's sponsor is the Out of Order Gun Rights Podcast. I just started a new Facebook group for Out of Order Gun Rights Podcast listeners. So if you sign up for the email list at outoforderjameskalita.com or at nagyourrep.com, I will add you to that free Facebook group. Now you have to be a subscriber to be in the group, so tell your friends, go to outoforderjameskalita.com, fill out that one form. All you need is your email address, hit submit, and we will get you added to the group. Today's guest is Douglas Welborn of the Madison Society. Madison Society is an all-volunteer group that funds lawsuits and teaches CCW classes in California. And now, here's Douglas.
Douglas Welborn, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So, Doug, you're the VP of the Madison Society Foundation. Would you tell us a little about that?
Well, we are a litigant group. We think there's enough groups that are working with legislatures, and in California, this legislature, the conservative group, has no one to go to. So we decided to start a litigation group where we sue in the courts to protect everyone's Second Amendment rights.
Oh, okay. And what's the genesis of the name?
Well, James Madison was the writer of the Second Amendment, so we named it after him.
Ah, excellent. All right. Great. So how did you guys decide to start the group?
Well, our president is a retired full bird Green Beret colonel, and California was talking about banning some semi-automatic rifles and pistols, and one of them was the one that he carried in Vietnam and Korea. And he kind of got upset, so we started this group with 9 people and $800, and we've grown from there. Wow.
And so I don't know if you want to tell me your membership, but how much have you guys grown since you started?
We have over 2,000 members now.
Oh, excellent. Oh, great.
In about 5 different states.
Great. And let's see. And what were the 2 guns California was trying to ban?
This was 22 years ago. I think it was his 1911 pistol that he had.
Gotcha. Okay. Great. So what kind of things are you guys working on now?
Well, we're working on now, we have in San Joaquin County here in California, we're working on a case where a lady was denied a CCW permit on moral grounds, and they do not tell you what moral grounds are, and there's nothing in her background that should have got her denied. She already has a CCW from Utah, so that's the current one we're working on. We're also keeping in touch with people in Oregon who are suing Dick's Sporting Goods and Walmart over the age of discrimination, where they will not allow long guns to be sold to anybody under 21 any longer. And in Deerfield, Illinois, we're looking at a case where they're trying to ban AR-15s.
Oh, okay. Great. And so I've learned, as I'm talking to people, that there's some parts of California where you can get the CCW license fairly regularly or easily, and there's some parts where they make up reasons not to give them to you. The woman that was denied, was she living in one of the easy-to-get parts or one of the hard-to-get parts?
I would say it's the middle of the road. She lives in San Joaquin County, and the sheriff there, he's not too bad, but he still, kind of plays favorites for political people. Now, we're located in Stanislaus County, and we have a shall-issue sheriff, so we've been real fortunate in this county.
Oh. So other than moving, is there anything the folks in the other counties can do to get their permits? Is that something you work with people on, or are they just kind of stuck
Well, we're authorized to give classes. That's how we raise most of our money, is through concealed weapons classes. And we're authorized in San Joaquin County, Stanislaus County, and Merced County. So we give classes to those people and help them get their concealed weapon permits.
Oh, excellent.
If they live in another county, we really don't have any pull. And if you're living on a county along the coast, you really got to have influence to even be considered for one.
Oh, and so what kind of training do you provide for the CCW classes?
Well, we provide classroom training, which puts them in, tells them about situations that they're going to be in, the laws that they are responsible for all their actions as long as they're holding their firearm. Then we give them, they have to qualify on the shooting range, and we have probably the best and safest range safety officers in the business. We even have 2 of them that are EMTs in case we have an accident, but we've been doing this since 2015 and we haven't had one accident yet.
Oh, that's excellent. That's an excellent record. All right. So how did you become involved in the society?
Well, I've always been a pro-Second Amendment supporter, and Colonel Virgil McVicker, our president and founder, he and I were friends, and then when he was upset about them taking his pistol away, possibly taking his pistol away, we started this. So I've been on the board ever since it began. Like I said, we started with $800 and 9 people, and now we've got a lot more than $800 in the bank and like 2,000 members, and as I mentioned earlier, in about 5 states. So we're growing and we're getting the word out there.
Yeah. So what can people do to help you guys grow and stay funded and things like that?
They can go to our website, madison-society.org, and they can join us. A lifetime membership for you and your spouse is only $30, and that came about because we used to give our CCW classes to everybody that would pay the fee, and we are a 5013 charity considered by IRS, and they put in regulations that we could only give our classes to our members. So we made lifetime membership really cheap, $30, and that way you can take our classes forever.
Oh, excellent. There we go. And let's see. So we talked about you have that case going on, and for the woman who was denied on moral grounds. Any other cases coming up, or any cases you guys have?
Well, we're just looking at the Deerfield, Illinois one that I talked about, and the one up in Oregon for the age discrimination. Because we just don't sue on Second Amendment, anything that affects gun rights, age discrimination, anything that affects the guns, we will sue on whatever amendment we can.
Oh, okay. So I always ask my guests if there are any books they recommend that gun owners should read, whether they be about guns or liberty or politics or what have you.
Well, there's a lot of good ones out there, but my recommendation to all the listeners is get a book on the gun laws in your state, keep up on them, and keep an eye on your legislature to make sure that they don't try and sneak something through on you.
All right. Good. So what else should our listeners know about about the Madison Society?
Well, our president and founder, Colonel Virgil McVicker, he's, like I said, a retired Green Beret Full Bird Colonel. He served since 1954 to 93 as the active and reserve. He was in Korea, Vietnam. He even worked for the Reagan administration in his first Reagan administration as a senior policy advisor with the Agency for International Development. And then he went back to the Special Forces and top secret intel operations until he retired in 93. So he's had quite a distinguished life.
Yeah, that's an impressive resume. And
he's running our organization right now.
So, and I guess this comes up a lot when we're talking to folks. If you're that passionate about guns and the colonel's that passionate about guns, then why stay in California? And I ask that as someone who stays in New Jersey, despite our gun laws. But
Well, I'm waiting for my wife to retire, then I'm planning to leave California.
Okay.
And the colonel has family here, so he's kind of obligated to stay, because most of his family lives in California, so he's more obligated than I am. My children live in different states throughout the West, so I could move a lot easier.
Right.
But
gotcha. Okay.
we figured we've got to fight. We can't give up.
That's true. That's
and
true.
And nobody should give up when they fight for any of their rights.
This is true. Yeah, that's what our founding fathers did. So we got to keep it going. So, what advice would you have for someone who's just waking up? You know, maybe they've heard about gun control their whole lives, but never thought it was as bad as gun owners say, and now they're getting a gun, and they realize how bad it is. What advice would you have for them?
What I always give is make sure you're up on your Constitution, especially the Second Amendment. Just don't read the Second Amendment. Read the talking points by James Madison, Thomas and Jefferson, the Founding Fathers, when they talked about the firearms. Learn the truth about the Second Amendment, not just what the media tells you. Because if you rely on them, they'll tell you it's just for military, and that is not correct. It's for the armed citizen to protect themselves from not only foreign governments, but especially their own government. And that's basically what the Revolutionary War was about.
Yeah, it's true. So when I talk to people that are in what I call free states that have, less restrictive gun laws than, my state and your state, they say things like, it's your own fault, just vote them out. The one I can't stand the most is you get the government you deserve. What do you say to folks who have that outlook?
I tell you, it sounds like they've given up, or they're not Second Amendment supporters in the first place. Because if they were, they would be helping you fight for your rights. If something comes up in New Jersey that's anti-Second Amendment, anti-gun, and somebody sues and they need our help, we'd be there. We've had cases in Texas and Virginia. Like I said, Oregon and Illinois we're looking into. So we're not just California. We've sued any state that has a problem. We'll be there.
Great. Great. Well, I thank you very much for coming on the show. I will put links to madisonsociety.org on the website, on our show notes page. Any other links I should throw out there? Facebook or Instagram or anything like that?
Yeah, we do have Facebook. I'm not on it myself, but we do have a Facebook account. We have a young man that handles that, so you can always look us up on Facebook. All
right. Great. I'll put a link to that out there. And any parting words for our listeners?
Just keep fighting and keep their powder dry.
Excellent. Thank you. And, all right, well, thank you very much for being on the show, and I look forward to
having me.
Talk to you soon.
Excellent.
Thanks again for tuning in to episode 53 of the Out of Order Gun Rights Podcast. Today I wanted to let you know about NJ SafeCon. You might remember my interview with John Willett from a few weeks ago. Well, that conference is coming up September 22nd, 2018. It will be in Vineland, New Jersey, and if you head over to njsafecon.net, you can get tickets and more information. I saved this spot for nonprofits, grassroots groups that help teach shooting, hunting, Second Amendment, and if you know of someone with an event coming up, please let me know, and please head over to the show notes page, outoforderjameskalita.com/53, and you'll be taken right to this episode. You'll find links to the Madison Society, to NJ SafeCon, and also our sponsors. And remember, if you sign up for our email list, I will add you to that Facebook group for Out of Order podcast listeners. It's Out of Order James Kalita. See you next time.